माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय जय गोपी जनवल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदनंदन जय व्रज जनरंजन जय व्रज जनरंजन जय यशोदनंदन जय व्रज जनरंजन जय व्रज जनरंजन जय यमुनतीरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय जय गोपी जनवल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय जय यशोदनंदन जय व्रज जनरंजन जय व्रज जनरंजन जय जय यमुनतीरावनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय यमुनतीरा जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय श्री राधा माधव की जय श्री श्री गौरताई की जय श्री श्री श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय श्रील गुरुदेव की जय श्रील भक्तिसिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की जय श्रील भक्तिसिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर प्रभुपाद तिरुभव महोत्सव की कोटि वैष्णव की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि 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 बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya Naram chaiva narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashta Prayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Melitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabho Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkripa tamaham vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Shri Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyamishwaram Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Mahavishnu Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Daita Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryojjvala Premadya Shri Rupanuga Bhakti De Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddha Apasiddhanta Dvanta Harine Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Prabhus and Matajis. So today is a glorious day. It's Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's Tirobhav Mahotsav, going back home, back to Godhead. It's a very beautiful point that was mentioned about the Tirobhav of great acharyas, especially in our sampradaya, in any sampradaya for that matter. But this was brought up by one of our very senior Vaishnava, that Tirobhavs are in one sense even more significant than Avirbhavs. The disappearance days are more significant even than the appearance days. Because when the acharyas appear, the world does not know their glories. But when they disappear, they leave behind a legacy. Their glories are known all over the world. Right? So, from that point of view, everybody knows about their, they are very amazed at their glories, how they have lived their life and left great essence of teachings and all that. So from that point of view, and also they are also going back to Krishna for another service, to take up another service. So whatever they have left with us, we should cherish it and try to make them feel proud that we are their, we are their grandchildren, great-grandchildren, whatever, in that sense. So that way, many times we have seen Srila Prabhupada becoming very emotional whenever he talks about his Guru Maharaj. And the same thing goes with Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also, when how he was connected to his spiritual master. We all know about this interaction between Gaur Kishore Das Babaji and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, especially with regards to his initiation. It's very interesting because something is very subtle there. If you see, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is the father of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and as it is, he is the Acharya in the Sampradaya. So it is not a very difficult thing for Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur to get initiation from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, or for Bhaktivinoda Thakur to give initiation to his own son. But when it so happened that Gaur Kishore Das Babaji was always they were interacting, Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Gaur Kishore Das Babaji were always interacting, and they were deeply relishing Krishna Katha. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, being a young person, in his youth, whatever that time, he was very much attracted to Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. At that time, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was a great learned scholar. And we all know he has written a whole book on the astrology, astronomy and all that. He knows everything. All subjects he knows in and out. And he was attracted to Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. And when at that time, Bhaktivinoda Thakur comes to know about this, he insists that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his son, should get initiation from Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. That's a very beautiful exchange between the father and the son. Right? And that also reveals the greatness of Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji too. But see what happens when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur approaches Gaur Kishore Das Babaji for initiation. He is saying, see, it's a very interesting thing, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, what he is saying here. You should take formal initiation from Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, because without initiation from a proper spiritual master, you cannot make proper spiritual progress. That connection of the mercy of the Lord is imparted to us through the process of Diksha. This is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's instruction to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his own son. And he would have given it on his own. It's very easy, but he didn't do that, right? Otherwise it will become a family sampradaya. Like, it happened in Vallabh Sampradaya too, where it was going quite well, but then it became like a, the family guru kind of a thing, For a family, they have a guru. And after Diksha, the guru doesn't even bother about them. He just goes away. After giving Diksha, he just goes away. So they keep telling, my guru is there, my guru is there. But where is the teachings? Where is the connection? So the connection with the spiritual master establishes our connection in Krishna, with Krishna. That is the most important thing. And in Bhagavad Gita, there is this beautiful verse where Krishna tells Arjuna what happens when the connection is not there. From this we will understand the importance of connection. What is that shloka 2.66? Nasti buddhir ayuktasya, nacha ayuktasya bhavana, nacha bhavatah shantihi, ashantasya kutas sukham. He is asking the question to Arjuna. Nasti buddhir ayuktasya, the buddhi which is not connected in Krishna consciousness with me, that is Krishna. Nacha yuktasya bhavana, you will not have bhavana with the bhav, the feeling will not be there. Nacha bhavetah shanti, when you don't have the bhav for Krishna, the service bhav, the mood for to serve Krishna and Guru, shanti will not be there, peace will not be there. And ashantasya kuta sukham, when you don't have peace, where is the question of happiness or bliss? This is why we should go back and track, why am I not happy in Krishna consciousness? Why am I feeling frustrated. Like devotees yesterday also, some of them asked, like in the initial days it's all going very nice, we are all happy, joyful, and then after some time the tragedy strikes in Krishna consciousness. We call it tragedy strikes, Actually it's a mental concoction. There is no tragedy in Krishna consciousness. It is a concoction that we are thinking that we are not happy. The anarthas, when they start creeping in, we think that we are not happy. But frankly speaking, in Krishna consciousness, if we do our chanting, reading and seva sincerely, chanting, study and seva, these three things if we do sincerely, then there is no question of frustration at all. There is a beautiful sloka in Bhagavatam where it says so beautifully that, before we get to that, somewhere Bhagavatam has to come in. This is 13:49. It's a beautiful sloka. Yes. The happiness is a symptom of Krishna being satisfied with our service. Guru and Krishna, when they are satisfied with our service, that's when we will be frank, we will be genuinely in bliss in Krishna consciousness. And whatever we do, then we have to check, what am I doing? Is it satisfying to Krishna? Such a beautiful verse it is, 3:13:49. You can repeat after me. Tasmin prasanne sakala shisham prabho kim durlabham tabir alam lavatma bihi ananya drishtya bhajatam guhashayah swayam vidhatte swagatim parah param swayam vidhatte swagatim parah param. This is such a beautiful last line. Swayam vidhatte. Krishna himself gives. Swagatim. What does he give? His gati, his shelter at his lotus feet, and which is the transcendental of all transcendence. Parah param. So we'll read this translation. Nothing remains unachieved when the Supreme Personality of Godhead is pleased with someone. There's nothing left to be achieved. Everything is achieved. Moment Krishna is pleased with us. By transcendental achievement, one understands everything else to be insignificant. All other things will become insignificant. Somebody will say, oh, you could have earned more, you could have had a big bungalow in the posh area, you would have got this name and fame, everything becomes like a lostravat, which is just garbage basically. No reason for us to run behind it. One who engages in transcendental loving service is elevated to the highest perfectional stage by the Lord himself, who is seated in everyone's heart. If you see in the purport, it's a beautiful thing, the halfway through. If one serves faithfully, in the purport, Prabhu, it's a beautiful few lines are there. If one serves faithfully, there is no possibility of frustration because the Lord himself takes charge of the devotee's advancement. What a beautiful line. We don't have to worry about it. Just Krishna is taking care of our advancement. Why am I worried about the advancement? I simply have to do sincere bhakti, that's it. The Lord is seated in everyone's heart and he knows the devotee's motive and arranges everything achievable. In other words, the pseudo-devotee who is anxious to achieve material gains. Yesterday also we were talking about that phalena parichiyate. If you run after the material phal, then Krishna will give the material phal, but he will not give the ananda. That will not come. The bliss will not come. So who is anxious to achieve material gains cannot attain the highest perfectional stage because the Lord is in knowledge of his motive. Yesterday also we saw that same line. Krishna knows our purpose. Who are we cheating? I may go and show so many things I can explain so many things. So hours and hours I can explain what I meant, what I felt, what I spoke, everything. But Krishna knows the motive and purpose. Then finally Prabhupada closes with this beautiful line. One merely has to become sincere in his purpose. And then the Lord is there to help in every way. What a beautiful statement. And this is not coming from Prabhupada's factory, some mental factory. It is coming from the parampara. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gave this knowledge to our Srila Prabhupada, and he is giving it to us. Whatever Prabhupada has written in his Bhagavatam, all the acharyas, their essence, the essence of all their realization is there in it. So this is the essence of the bhakti teaching, that all our acharyas want us to imbibe, understand, imbibe. So he is saying this, and then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur approaches Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, who is Tasmin Prasanna. This sloka applies to all our acharyas. They were all blissful because they have pleased Krishna. They have pleased Krishna so much that when name and fame comes, they run away, in fact. Like Madhavendra Puri also was running away from name and fame, right? So he is saying, actually, he was, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji is illiterate, but when he opens his mouth, all slokas and all essence of all, everything will come out. How does that happen? This is a magic, isn't it? If I have to know some sloka, I have to read books and know. But how does he know without being an illiterate? How can he know all these slokas and conclusions and everything? So he's a Vaikuntha man, definitely. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is so pure that he was able to identify such a pure acharya in Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, isn't it? Not only that, he was also able to find another pure devotee in his divine grace, Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. So you see his interaction with all three acharyas, right? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has interaction with Bhaktivinoda Thakur because of being his son, and to Gaur Kishore Das Babaji because of being his disciple, and to our Srila Prabhupada being his guru. So we can get the essence from him of all of them, right? So he is saying that, you are an educated person, what will I do? So when he goes to ask for initiation. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says beautifully, all education, all knowledge, all learning of the scriptures, it is all useless unless we are using it all in the service of a great soul like you. So if you kindly accept me. Then, but then Gaur Kishore Babaji refuses out of humility. He doesn't want any encumbrance in that sense, Basically he's a Bhajananandi. But when we realize the greatness of this Bhajananandi through the writings of or the interactions of his disciples like great acharyas like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, we really amazed. So he says, I have to take initiation from you. My father asked me to take initiation from you. Then Gaur Kishore Das Babaji says, okay, let me ask Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and let you know. See, this is how, if any Guru Maharaj says that, what we will be telling, you are giving to so many people, it is just a matter of, I cross these levels and I do chanting 16 rounds, you are supposed to give me. It's my privilege. You have to give me there's that business class privilege. If you see this interaction of the initiation between Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, you will see what really is initiation. Actually, then he says, okay, I will ask Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and let you know. Then he said, felt a little hope. And he came back. And then after some time, he goes back and he asked Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, did you talk to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Yes, I spoke to him. Did you ask him about my initiation? Oh, I forgot to ask him about you. Okay, he didn't lose patience once again. He is saying, okay, next time when you talk to him, please ask him about my initiation. Right? So he goes back. After some time, he again comes back. Then he asks, did you ask Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about my initiation? And Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj says, yes, he told me not to initiate you. See how amazing this interaction is. And then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur becomes really devastated that if you don't initiate me, I just go and commit suicide. I don't want to live in this world when I cannot get a shelter of such a glorious, pure acharya like you. Then when he says, I want to jump into Ganga, then at that time, Gaur Kishore Babaji relented. And then he said, okay, I will initiate you. And he was the only disciple in that sense, formally initiated. you see this interaction, it's so subtle and amazing that this Diksha is not a very easy process, just a thing of giving, just a name. I happened to have an interaction with my spiritual master, a similar kind of a thing, where Maharaj is very spontaneous in his initiation sometimes. We were actually attending a class like this in Rajkot. Maharaj was giving class, and two devotees, one couple basically, they came with us to Bangalore, from Bangalore to Rajkot. They just wanted to see Maharaj, and they had a little desire that if he gives shelter, it will be all right. But we didn't express it to Maharaj. But he knows from his heart that, who is having the desire, whatever. So he was just giving a class. It was a 1.5 hours class. He was just giving a class. And in the middle of the class, suddenly he told that Mataji, out of the two, the couple, husband and wife, he told that Mataji, now your name is this. She was wondering what is happening. Maharaj is answering some questions and he is telling some name. And she looked here and there and we told, Mataji, Maharaj has initiated you. He's initiated me. And then, with the fool I am, I thought, okay, Maharaj is going to give initiation to the husband also, Then I told Maharaj in the class itself, Maharaj, what about Prabhu? He looked at me like, staring at me. He looked at me and said, Krishna suggests. I didn't understand what Krishna suggests. He will suggest for the Prabhu also. No? And with a strong, grave voice, he said, Krishna suggests. And then I said, oh my God, I was shivering really. It was like Narsingadev speaking. Then I said, oh, I should stop. Then Maharaj said, we will do the yajna until tomorrow, but this is the Krishna was suggesting. So these dikshas, they are not a normal thing. We just give our name and we will get a name in return. It happens by their connection with Krishna. And how we are connected with the spiritual master, that way, we will be connected with Krishna by their mercy. And that is what Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur is teaching us through this great interaction about the Diksha, And when he interacts with Srila Prabhupada also, we see so many times that Prabhupada is, the only instruction he kept repeating was preach in English, preach to the Western world. Every time he asks this question, every time different ways he asks, the same answer comes. And you see how just following that one instruction, Vyavasayatmika Buddhi Ekaiha Kurunandana, he is able to create a whole worldwide movement in which not only that all the living entities are benefited by it, but you see the entire line of Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya is revealed to the whole world. Otherwise, how will we know who is Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj? How will we know his glories? And how will we know Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's glories? Or Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Jagannath Das Babaji, or Shadu Goswamis? We are from South India. By default, we may know a little bit about this Alvars and Nayanmars and all. But Shadu Goswami is a foreign thing for us because it is not, they are not from, from the South Sampradayas. Right? We will be connected with these Madhva Sampradaya or Sri Sampradaya, etc. Right? Or Shankara Sampradaya, whatever. But when we connected to this, the Vaishnava Bhajans, Vaishnava Acharyas, their the glorious devotional service, we feel really proud, transcendentally proud of being in this Sampradaya, isn't it? Because all of them are so glorious. Their teachings are glorious. Their activities are glorious. So amazing it is really. So, whenever you read Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada's writings, our mind goes bewildered, isn't it? We are like awestruck to see, what kind of, first of all, to understand his English is very difficult. On top of it, to understand his devotion, it is even more mind-boggling, we have to say. There are a few instructions from his teachings which I just quoted. I just took, we can go through that. Very deep, really. But before going through the list of the ones, in the interest of time, we may not be able to cover that. So I will share one quote which you might all be knowing it, which is said is mind-boggling really. We will repeat after this line and we will meditate on this statement maybe throughout the day. That way we will get Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur Prabhupada's blessings. He says, please repeat after me. The root of it all is humility, or the due realization of one's ineligibility. If our unfitness for devotional service is revealed to us either automatically or by the realizations of others, then we are in a position to appreciate the beauty of the lotus feet of the Lord's devotees. Let me read it without repetition. Let me say, the root of it all is humility, or the due realization of one's ineligibility. Ineligibility means we are not eligible. Without the mercy of the Vaishnavas, without the mercy of the Acharyas, we may do big things, but it will not be received by Krishna and his associates, right? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates. So we first of all, the root of all our devotional service is humility, or the due realization of our ineligibility. If our unfitness for devotional service, we are not fit. I am not fit to sit here. Because of my spiritual master, because of the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, whatever we are trying to speak, even though I am not practicing it, still I am sitting here. If I practice it, how much more it will be nice. We will be happy. So if our unfitness for devotional service is revealed to us, either automatically means from Paramatma. Paramatma will reveal it to us. Dadami buddhi yogam tamna, he says. So we are not fit for devotional service. We are not eligible for it. So that will be revealed to us, then we will become humble actually. Right? So if our unfitness for our devotional service is either revealed automatically or by the realizations of others. This realizations of others is not something like, Prabhu, you are a great devotee, you are so amazing, you did this such nice, wonderful service. Or they say that, I read this from Bhagavatam, that from Bhagavatam. No, that is not only the realization. That is also realization. But the actual realization is their criticism of us. Their actual realization is the faults that they find in us. That's how we should take it. Because if they are going to tell glorious things about us, how will I know of my unfitness? Only if they tell that, Prabhu, you are not washing the pots properly. Prabhu, you didn't chant the shloka properly. You should not be doing this. Prabhu, probably you are puffed up. That's why it is not. Right? So, if something like that comes from outside, that is when we are not listening to the instructions of the Paramatma, then the next ban he has, Ramban he has is this thing, somebody will find the fault in us. Right? So our unfitness for devotional service is either revealed automatically or by the instructions of others. They are instructing us, or by the realizations of others. They are instructing us, then they are realizing and their realization. Then we will realize, yes, I didn't realize, I didn't understand this fault in me, but the devotee is revealing that fault in me. When we positively accept that, receive that from others, then we are in a position to appreciate the beauty of the lotus feet of the Lord's devotees. Not even Lord's devotees. We will appreciate the devotees' glory. How beautiful that devotee is, how that devotee's lotus feet. So I will start serving him. When you find something beautiful, you will serve, isn't it? You will be attached to it. So we will be attached to that devotee who is finding fault with us. In other words, we will go and serve them. Why? Because I am not able to find the fault in me. I have not even listened to the instructions coming from my Paramatma. So he is so kind enough to reveal that at the risk of himself falling down. Because when I find fault in you, right, I fall down. I have to, when I see fault in you, that fault comes to me. So at the risk of getting that fault in me, imbibing that fault, that devotee is actually revealing that fault in me. So I should really worship him for taking that risk. So this is the statement of Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. Once one of Prabhupada's disciples wrote this in his Vyas Puja offering to Prabhupada. So I really liked that statement, and I said I will by heart this statement. Even if I'm not following, it's all right, but at least let me by heart. So this is like this, he gives so many bombshells, throws so many bombshells. And let's try to read try to share some of them here, He says, unless and until we accept the spiritual master as a manifestation of the Supreme Lord, as non-different from him, we will not be able to chant the holy names. Amazing. Not superficially, but in heart, he's saying. Unless and until we accept the spiritual master as a manifestation. Yasya prasadat bhagavad prasado, yasya aprasadan nagati kutopi. No, not that one. Sakshad haritvena samasta shastraya. We have this thing that, people might think we are like the other Mayavadis who are accepting everybody as Krishna. No. We are not afraid of anybody calling anything to us. For us, actually Prabhupada told the first time he did the initiation in New York, the first batch of devotees whom he initiated. At that time, one of the devotees asked Prabhupada that, Prabhupada, you are saying this initiation, what does this mean? What should the disciple do after this? Prabhupada then said, from now on, your spiritual master is God for you. Then they were bewildered. Prabhupada, all this time you said spiritual master will never claim himself to be God. Now you are saying spiritual master is God. Yes, you should be thinking like spiritual master is God. Spiritual master will not think that he is God. And then he said, okay, you cannot accept this, then you accept spiritual master as good as God. He gave that little bit of concession to them because they were not able to conceive that sudden change of this thing. But actually that is the fact. Sakshad haritvena, Sakshad Hari, samasta shastraya. Then what is the question? That he is Sakshad Hari. Only those who have this thought in their heart, for them, yasya deve parabhaktir yatha deve tata gurav tasya ite katita hyartha prakashante mahatmanah. That's shloka, Whatever devotion you have for Hari, the same devotion we should have for the Guru too. And that is his instruction, our dear Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's instruction. Then he says further, the confidential purport of the undisputed truth that is spoken boldly will be realized only after hundreds of lifetimes or even hundreds of yugas. Unless we spend hundreds of gallons of blood, hundreds of gallons of hard-earned blood, not simply blood, hard-earned blood. Blood means I can cut someone else's blood also and give. Like easy to take money from someone else's pocket and put it in hundi, not from my own pocket. So hundreds of gallons of hard-earned blood. It will not be possible to make others understand the truth. Yesterday so many of us were in that book distribution, isn't it? We could see all the devotees are so busy engaged in somehow or other bring the persons to that book table. Or Prem Dham Prabhu was doing a fantastic job. It's just somehow or other bringing them over. And everybody, taking lead to some, they were like, some crowd was there. Actually, they saw that so many people are standing around. It's only devotees only. Many of us are standing and they say, hey, something big is going on here. And automatically they are coming. It's a nice idea, Instead of one person standing there, go 20 people stand there. Only one person wears tilak, all others don't. They argue, sometimes they argue and then when they argue, then they will say something is happening, they will come. One very interesting thing that His Holiness Ganapati Das Maharaj, is Prabhupada's disciple, senior Vaishnava, 50 years he's doing book distribution. He had a very interesting thing way to do book distribution and he goes universities and all places and he distributes in the US. We had a great fortune of associating with him for some time. So he always keeps a book table and he sits there. And then he'll keep calling out, please take books and like that. So once one Bengali Mayavadi came and he saw all the books of Prabhupada and he started talking about Vivekananda and all that. Then for some time Maharaj was trying to make him understand, what is bhakti and why Vivekananda is not, really in that line and things and all that. She was becoming a bit more agitated, He said, how can you talk about Vivekananda like this and all that. Then Maharaj really started firing him left, right, shouting like at him. And he started shaking, And then he started doing this and the exchange was happening and Maharaj was really going hard on him. And it was a high pitch. And then suddenly people thought, in US and all, when some sound, here nobody cares, but when some sound happens, they all started gathering. And they all started, a big 5800 people started coming on. Some big problem has happened here. And then that person was kind of shunted out because everybody else gathered. And Maharaj became suddenly cool and started doing books like this. He started doing book distribution. Take this book and everybody. So utilize that Mayavadi also in Maharaj, in Prabhupada's service. So this is amazing really how, when they give such instructions, we can anything, any novel way. In 1.5.16, Prabhupada writes beautifully, He says, expert devotees find novel ways and means to spread this message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, message of Krishna consciousness. Like we are all doing here. Like every time, yesterday we heard the score. Like, you go and contact with the school and distribute books. Or you go to some devotees in the US, they started this Motel Gita. They went and distributed in all the motels. Why only Holy Bible? Put Bhagavad Gita also next to it. Or if you are really, this thing, you replace Bible with Gita also. These are all novel ways and means. And every time it is actually from the spiritual, the sampradaya, it comes. It's not our own manufactured ideas. When we are connected with the line, then these all come. Because Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura is the master of all Yukta Vairagya, isn't it? He taught us how everything can be utilized in Krishna's service. Right? So we follow in his footsteps and he is still supplying us the instructions to follow, right? The ideas to implement. Then he gives another one. Do not give up the worship of Hari even if you have to face hundreds of dangers, criticisms or harassments. Do not become discouraged by seeing that most of the world's people do not accept the truth. Neither give up your worship of Hari nor your speaking of Krishna Katha, your life and soul. Always chant Hari's names while thinking yourself lower than a straw in the street and being more tolerant than a tree. Then next he says, we serve the Lord's deity form by chanting the Lord's holy names. Consciousness is served only by consciousness. This is live. Gaur-Nitaji is live. So when the deity for Gaur-Nita, what is deity for, the diet for the deities, Gaur-Nita especially, holy names is the diet. The more even if you don't offer anything to them, of course you do offer, but I'm just saying, in case when you are traveling and not able to offer, chanting is their diet. For Radha Krishna, you cannot do that. Radharani will become upset. I am anyway chanting the holy names. What are you also doing? You just offer properly, she will say. But for Gaur-Nitai, he is so merciful that even if you don't have the something to offer, just keep chanting sincerely. That is the diet. You can offer them that. So the Lord's devotees call him by chanting his holy names for his pleasure. Beautiful word. I am not trying to, that's why we are saying many times people say, Prabhu, I am chanting, I am not getting any feelings or I am getting distracted. Who cares about our distraction? Who cares about our ecstasy and hair standing on it? Krishna is not wanting all those things from us. He says, you chant the holy names. The Lord's devotees call him by chanting his holy names for his pleasure. That's our main thing that we should understand. The struggle that we are doing in trying to control the mind or bring back the mind from its distraction pleases Krishna and Guru. Not when now I have controlled my mind. That doesn't work. Never we can control it on our own. Krishna has to control the mind. We can only pay or offer our obeisances to him. So it is very important to know that we are doing our chanting or any service for that matter for Krishna's pleasure. And there is no work as beneficial as serving the spiritual master. Among all kinds of worship of the Supreme Lord is the topmost. Service to the spiritual master is superior to the service to the Supreme Lord. Unless this conviction is firmly rooted in our hearts, we cannot take advantage of our spiritual master's association. He is our maintainer and we are his servants. What an amazing Guru Bhakti. What an amazing Guru Bhakti. These are things by which they are inspiring us so much, If why Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was so great? Because of his devotion to his Guru. It's not just because of his scholarliness. There are so many people who are scholars in Surya, this Jyotish and astronomy and this and that, all kinds of science. But why they have not become so glorious? Why their glories are not sung all over the world? Because they are not as attached to their Guru as how Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur has showed us. If we desire to chant his Hari's name offenselessly, then we should chant constantly. Constant chanting will vanquish our offenses. Then he's saying we are cheated until we realize that our only duty is to serve Lord Krishna and his devotees. In this world we are cheated when we see that our only duty is to serve Krishna and his devotees. A Vaishnava has no possessions. Nothing can tempt his mind. There is nothing extraordinary in this world or the next worth coveting for him. He desires only to see the beauty of the toenails of Krishna's lotus feet. Whenever we are not attracted to serving the Lord, we should understand that we have been attacked and captured by Maya's illusory energy. This last one I will repeat again. Whenever we are not attracted to serving the Lord, we should understand that we have been attacked and captured by Maya's illusory energy. These are some of the points which I wanted to share. But I just want to conclude by this beautiful thing that which two homages that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur offered. One to His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur upon his disappearance, and to His Divine Grace Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj on his disappearance. So he says, the first thing that he says is, where is that? I think I missed it. 1 minute. Yes. One sec, we'll take this out. Sorry, I didn't write this down in my... The first thing is to His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. He says, on his disappearance, today is one of great happiness and not slightest grief. Today our Master has entered the eternal pastimes of the Lord. Now it is our duty to remember his eternal position, name, qualities, form and pastimes. Henceforth, we will follow in his footsteps even more concentrated. This is what he said, because Bhakti Vinod Thakur is his father too. Right? And then to His Divine Grace Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, he says beautifully, in a very humble mood out of in separation, now who will chastise me to make me understand the truth as it is? To whom will I show my articles and books? Who will take pleasure in my writings and encourage me to continue? Who will take pleasure in hearing about the preaching work and increasing splendor of the Dham and our service to it? This is how Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur offers his homage to his Guru, His Divine Grace Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. I somehow felt a bit connected to this thing also, because we had this good fortune of being so closely, personally guided by our spiritual master when we had this Grantaraj forum. And he would always read the offerings, wherever Grantaraj articles, whichever part of the world he used to be in, and he will call me, anybody's article, not only my article, anybody's article, he will call and he will say, this point is very nice. And then he will say, this shows how they are sharing their practical experience. And sometimes he will chastise us. Why you are writing this sloka? This is not connected with this. This point is wrong. And he will do all this, correction as well as appreciation. And there are many times when I would always share about my, wherever I go for preaching services, anything, and he would be so joyful. He would be so joyful to hear that, and he will say that, this is actually giving me more joy than even my own, when I do my own preaching, travel around for my own preaching. And he would personally tell some of the devotees who call him for coming and giving classes, he will say, I am sorry, I am not in good, he will be in good health only, but he will say, I am not in good health, I am not able to travel, but I will send my disciple, you please engage him in the service. When I heard this particular statement by Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, I felt, that this is so closely, I could relate to this very closely. And when we write the books or anything, now we have that separation. But the glorious thing is that we are connected in that separation. Frankly speaking, at some point in our life, we all have to be separated from our spiritual master. Or, we go first or they go first, whichever way it is. But we have to be separated. But during that time, how we are connecting with our spiritual master from then on, that is actually depicted by our Arjuna in his the 15th chapter of first canto, when he expresses his feelings of separation from Krishna. You please go through that in your leisure time. That's the most amazing chapter for us to connect with our Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura also. We have not seen him in person, but we connect with him through our Srila Prabhupada's Guru Bhakti, through his realizations. So that way we have a connection with all our acharyas. And we glorify even one acharya in our sampradaya. All the acharyas, all the associates of Krishna, everybody is pleased with us. So that way it is a great day for us today. I am stopping here. And thank you so much for this wonderful golden opportunity. Though we are not qualified, but because of all your mercy, we are able to speak a few words about His Devangay Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Tagore Premanande Hari Hari Bol Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu